Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be taking a look at another one of these transformation packs for Windows XP. Now we've taken a look at a couple of these in the past, the Windows Vista transformation pack, the macOS transformation pack. There's a lot of these transformation packs out there, and this one, as you can probably tell from the title, is called SevenMizer, and it is designed to make Windows XP, Media Center Edition, or Server 2003 look like Windows 7. Now this was actually submitted by a viewer over on Twitter named CJ, so thank you for sending this in. And yeah, in today's video we're just going to be taking a look at it. Now this is made by a completely different person or group of people than the previous couple of transformation packs that we've taken a look at. This one is not made by Windows X Live. This person, whoever made this, does actually have a Windows Vista transformation pack called SevenMizer as well, that we probably will be taking a look at in a future video if you guys want to see that, so be sure to leave those comments down below. But this video is going to be all about SevenMizer, so I will have this link down below in the video description if you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself. You can download it on Softpedia right here. And we're just going to go ahead and jump into this. So I have the file downloaded right here. This is a fresh Windows XP VM. So we're going to go ahead and run it here. And when it comes up, you do have a wide selection of different languages here. We're just going to go with English. And this is the SevenMizer setup wizard. It looks like a pretty standard install, unlike the previous two transformation packs from Windows X Live. It doesn't have this like full screen background that will come up kind of like in the Vista transformation pack. Kind of makes it look like you're installing something that has to do with Windows Vista. This one just brings up a pretty standard install wizard, which is, totally fine. And we're just going to go ahead and go through the installation. Now we're going to accept the terms of the license agreement, and this is actually a pretty recent project. Well, it started obviously back around in 2009. That's when this copyright date says down here at the bottom. But the latest date is 2016, so this is actually only about 3 years old, this specific version that we're taking a look at here, which is version 2.2.1.0. And this is the original website that it was originally hosted on. Again, I just downloaded it from that Softpedia mirror. And this is the author's name and credits right here. And this is actually in a completely different language. Most of this, there are certain parts of it that are in English, like, this part of the install wizard up here and this text here, but the actual license agreement is in another language. And kind of like in the Vista transformation pack, we have this option here to either go with a normal installation or actually modify an existing Windows ISO. And this is something that I haven't done before, but I think it would be pretty cool to actually try out, because what it does, and as far as I understand, the Vista transformation pack does basically the same thing. You actually give it an ISO file, so just a standard XP ISO file, and it will modify that and add all of the patches and custom themes and wallpapers and all of that to the actual ISO, so that when you install a version of XP from that ISO, it will actually already basically have the SevenMizer pack already installed and already patched and ready for you to use. Now it says here that extras will not be integrated, so there are some things that you are not going to be able to get with the ISO method. So for that reason, we're just going to be going with a standard install so we can actually take a look at everything. So again, we're just going to go with the standard install. And this right here, when you get to the choose components setup, is actually a bit somewhat confusing. It has it defaultly set on the custom install, which contains everything. I mean, we can go in here, we can go into theme, it has everything checked. Now, you would think that the full install would have everything, but it actually doesn't. It doesn't contain the quick launch, and I believe there was something else under files. Yeah, so it's only quick launch. So for whatever reason, the full install does not contain everything. So if you want to install everything, you have to go with the setting that it normally has, which is custom. Also, there's, for some reason, well, we have a minimum, which obviously is not going to install everything. And then we have this iPod. For some reason, that's an install option. I don't really know what that indicates, what this has to do with iPods. It looks like it doesn't contain quick launch, which is the same thing as the full install. So yeah, font, it has everything. So it looks like it's basically the same thing as the full install. We're just going to go with custom and make sure that everything is checked here to basically get the entire experience. And once you have your options selected here, you can obviously fine tune this to your liking and, you know, set certain components, uncheck certain components, whatever that you want to do. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be installing everything. It takes about 240 megabytes of hard drive space, and we're going to press install. Now, if you have it selected, it will actually create a system restore point, which is very useful. And we're going to just wait for it to install here, and I will be back once it's finished installing. Alright, so I just wanted to come back here for a quick second and just kind of show you guys what the installer is actually doing. You can see that it's going through this process of modifying a lot of these system files. Most of them are DLL files. So it's just pretty cool to kind of see this whole process. I mean, you can see that this list is gigantic. It modifies a lot of files. You can see it's now getting into some exe files as well. And this is just to basically, you know, patch them, modify them so that they can kind of have that Windows 7 look. That's basically what this whole program is designed to do. So yeah, just wanted to go ahead and show you guys kind of what the installer does if you didn't know already. And yeah, I will come back once it is finished. Alright, so the installer has finished, and you can see that right off the bat we have a new background. The installer has actually went ahead and changed the XP background over to this Windows 7 one. And we do have a link to actually donate to the author. I'm not sure if this is still being developed, but if anybody wants to actually donate to the author, there's the link to it right there. And we're going to go ahead and press next and actually reboot the machine to kind of allow the entire theme to take effect. We still have the Windows XP boot screen here, so this probably will change after another restart. I believe that it does. And we can see that we have the classic, like, please wait Windows XP screen there that it does when it's usually applying a service pack. And right here is your first sign that you are using a Windows 7 transformation pack here. We have basically a screenshot of the Windows 7 boot screen. And then we have, you probably saw a couple of things there. The Windows 7 wallpaper, the Windows 7 logon sound, and now we have the Windows 7 taskbar. Now from what I can tell, unfortunately there is no true transparency or other arrow imitation program. At least I can't actually find anything like that, but we do have a sound pack. But overall, it looks like a pretty nice transformation. I mean, yes, it would have been cool to have like an arrow transparency, but I don't believe that it actually offers us that. Now, one thing that is also interesting is that usually these packs, and I believe that this one is kind of the same deal here, is basically a collection of other programs. But this here, we don't actually have like a way to access all those programs, at least from the start menu. We have a new folder called SevenMizer, which just contains a couple of programs that relate to the theme itself. So we have this program called Data Rebuild, which does as you would expect it to. We have this Set Unset Current User, which basically allows you to uninstall or install certain features. So without having to reinstall the entire program, you can basically go in here and modify what components are installed. And we also have a shortcut to actually uninstall the entire program right here, which is, you know, pretty useful as well. So that way we don't have to actually go into the control panel and, you know, search for it there. Let's take a look at what other things that the transformation pack has modified for us. So when we open up my computer, you can see that the windows take on an entirely new theme here. It looks a lot more like you know, Windows 7. Now it's obviously the Windows 7 like basic style. You know, there's no arrow installed, as I said, so it just kind of does the like bluish gray tone, you know, to the start menu and to the window borders. It adds the Windows 7 close, maximize and minimize buttons up here. And yeah, it also modifies all of the icons as well. You can see even on the desktop, things like the recycle bin, the folders, the C drive. The C drive does not kind of add that drive icon that shows the actual percentage of, you know, how much of the drive is actually taken up from the icon like Windows Vista and Windows 7 do. But we can still go in here and see that it's also modified the these files are hidden page to add this new icon down here. Okay, so I went ahead and actually double checked. It actually installs everything in the Windows folder. It creates a new folder for its applications. You see it says SevenMizer up here. And we have just a ton of folders. We actually have Resource Hacker as well. I guess they were using Resource Hacker to kind of modify everything. And, you know, we have the same three programs that were in the start menu. So rebuild, user, and uninstall. This is, you know, just to show you here these three different programs right here that pertain to the actual program. And we basically have just a ton of, like, file folders, you know, like we have, for example, the BMP folder contains just a bunch of bitmaps, different icons, things like that, you know, that the entire theme uses. It even looks like it modifies the card games as well, which is pretty cool. You can also notice here that for the start menu, all of this stuff on the right here follows the like Windows 7 naming scheme, which is something that, you know, you would expect this transformation pack to do, which is pretty cool. We can go into My Computer or Computer, right click on that and go to Properties. And we will bring this up right here, and you can see that, yeah, it still says that it's XP, but they've modified the icon here. So yeah, that was the taskbar and everything, and I'm actually starting to wonder if this entire like transformation pack, you know, SevenMizer, if everything in here is kind of created by just this one author or this group of people, because like I said, there's not really like a folder that contains separate programs like, you know, True Transparency or ViStart or ViOrb, or those programs that you would normally see in things like a transformation pack that makes XP look like Vista. You know, like I said, most of those Windows X Live ones are literally just a collection of a bunch of programs, but they're made and packaged in a way that makes it so you don't have to go through and install every single one of those. So this one might actually be all created by the same author or the same group of people, whoever it is that actually made this. So what we just took a look at was like the File Explorer or Windows Explorer, whatever that you want to call it. Now let's actually move on to some other things. First off is going to be WinVer. WinVer is something that we usually always take a look at in these videos, and you can probably see that right off the bat we have a couple of modifications here. Obviously the window borders and the buttons have, you know, taken effect here. We have this new Windows 7 Ultimate banner that replaces the Windows XP one. It doesn't change anything like the build string or the NT version. That still, you know, stays the same. They haven't modified that at all. But they have, you know, given it this nice touch where it says Windows 7. Just kind of makes it feel a little bit more like Windows 7. Also, you may notice down there in the bottom, in the taskbar, that we do have the tiny... well, first off, we have the larger taskbar. You know, normally in Windows XP, the taskbar is about half this size. But so we have it larger, and we also have the smaller icons, and we can also open up multiple windows. So see right here we have 2 Explorer windows opened up, and it goes right to actually grouping them in one button, just like Windows 7 does. One thing we don't get is window previews. We don't have anything like that. You still have to actually click on it to see what windows are open, and it just does it in the same way like a Windows XP group is. You know, nothing special there, but they do definitely go for that Windows 7 look by just making the actual button a lot smaller, which is pretty cool. So you can obviously fit more things in your taskbar. Let's go ahead and open up the control panel, because the control panel got basically an entire revamp as well. You can see that, and all the icon modifications is something that you're going to see across this entire program here, because it modifies pretty much all of the icons. We can even go into things like Device Manager, and we can see here that in Device Manager as well, all of these icons, every single one of them is a Windows 7 or Windows Vista icon. There's no Windows XP icon here at all. So they've done a really good job, or, you know, this author, this person's done a very good job at going in here, modifying things down to the detail. It's a very, very complete package, which is definitely really, really cool to see, and the extra effort is definitely appreciated. So things in the Device Manager, all the icons have been changed, and the same thing in the control panel here. We have a brand new background. This is, of course, the XP category view. We have a brand new background with a giant Windows 7 control panel icon. And we also have all of these groups. All these groups have their icon changed as well. We can go to add and remove programs and open this up. You can see things on the sidebar here have been changed. You know, basically the entire layout. I mean, I shouldn't say that the entire layout's been changed, because this is still in the XP like layout. You know, the XP category view looks very similar to this. It's just with a different background and different icons. This is in the same layout. They've just modified how everything looks icon-wise and theme-wise, if you will, which is definitely very, very awesome. We can, of course, switch to the classic view if you want to. This is honestly my preferred way of using the XP control panel, and you can see here it's the exact same story. All of these icons have been completely changed to their Windows 7 counterpart. Taskbar and start menu we were just in. You can see even in here we have the newer Windows 7 shields, so definitely very, you know, very nice touch there. Internet options, power options, phone and modem options, security center. They've definitely like repurposed icons, even in the security center here. I mean, look at this. We've got the newer help icon. Again, the entire layout of the program is identical to XP, but they've updated all of the icons. So that's when it was going through in that installer and modifying all of those different programs. This is what it was doing. It was basically changing what icon or what set of icons that that program was using. And as you saw from that previous clip, it did that to a lot of files, a lot of EXEs, a lot of DLLs, and obviously a lot of CPL files as well, because that's what all of these are. They are, different control panel items. So definitely very, very nice there. We'll go ahead and close out of the control panel, because one other thing that I want to show you guys is the logon screen or the lock screen. Go ahead and log off here, and you can see that, well, right off the bat, we have a new background for the log off, and I believe for the shutdown dialog as well, it's going to do the exact same thing. So we'll just go back in here, and I want to actually switch user and show you what they've done to the logon screen here. You can see that this really looks almost identical to Windows 7. These two buttons down here, the ease of access and the power options, look pretty much identical to the way they look in Windows 7. They're in the exact same spot. We do have a language switcher up here, which I guess isn't actually a language switcher. It just tells you what language the system is in, so we're in English. And aside from this to begin, click your username text that's up here, this right here looks very identical as well. Now there's no Windows 7 branding down here at the bottom like there normally is. That's not here for whatever reason, and I believe that was in the SevenMizer program, so for whatever reason it was cut, unless I'm just not seeing it for some reason, because you guys probably saw in the previous clip that I installed everything, so every single option was checked, so I think that just isn't there. But overall it looks very, very similar to the Windows 7 login screen. If they just could have cut this and added like a background image down here, I would be definitely comfortable saying that you could probably fool somebody just by looking at this, that this is Windows 7. So anyway, we'll go ahead and log back on here, and let's go ahead and just take a look at a couple of different programs here. You can see that again in the start menu in this all programs view here, the same story with the icons is here as well. All of these icons for the games have been changed to the Windows 7 counterparts. Under accessories, Windows Moviemaker I think is the only one that's still the XP version, but Windows Moviemaker wasn't even in Windows 7. At least the regular non-live Windows Moviemaker was not in Windows 7. So they still have that old icon here, but for the most part all of these have been changed over. But let's go ahead and take a look at the games, because you guys may have saw from a previous clip in this video that when I went into the Windows folder directory on the computer and went into the SevenMizer directory, you probably saw that there were some solitaire images in there. When we open up Solitaire, you'll see that we have the Windows 7 deck packs. The design of these cards are in the Windows 7 design. Now again, the entire program is still the XP program. They haven't like taken the newer version with animations and things like that. The much fancier version of the program, if you will. They haven't brought that and kind of ported it over to XP. The author of this program has just taken the actual images for the cards that were used in the Windows 7 program and have just brought that over to here. So you'll see we can even go into game and we can hit deck here, and all of these packs, I believe, are from Windows 7, so we can go ahead and change that if we want to. And the face of these cards is definitely from Windows 7 or from Windows Vista as well. So definitely very cool. We can open up things like Internet Explorer, and you'll see that in here they have modified a couple of things. They've modified this up here, the spinning orb has been changed to a Windows 7 orb. All of these icons here, this is the Windows Live Messenger icon. All these icons up here, all these buttons, totally changed. We go to About Internet Explorer. This is still the same. They haven't modified that. And you'll see that down here, I believe this is the new Internet Globe as well. It's just kind of hard to tell because it's very, very tiny there. But they've done some work in Internet Explorer, and I can go into every single one of these programs and tell you guys the same story, because it's basically what it is. This author, whoever made this group of people has done a very outstanding job at just kind of making this entire thing look a lot more like Windows 7. That's obviously exactly what it was designed to do. So that is basically going to go ahead and wrap it up for this little video here on the SevenMizer version 2.2.1.0 for Windows XP. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever that I upload a new video, which I do every single week on this channel. And also be sure to drop me a comment down below. I want to hear what you guys think of this program. I want to hear any feedback that you guys have about this video, or any suggestions for future videos, as this video right here was, suggested to me by CJ over on Twitter. I've gotten a lot of different video suggestions in the past, and I hope to get more in the future, because hearing directly from you guys is just really awesome, and it's great to, hear these videos that I'm doing are things that you guys actually want to see, and that's definitely a driving force behind these videos, is making ones that you guys actually want to see. So if you have any sort of comments, questions, or concerns, I guess, be sure to leave them down in the comment section below, as I always enjoy reading what you guys have to say. And as always, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.